Yo, what up, though? Subscribe to my channel, like the video, and leave a comment. Back to the video. We all know Daniil Hunter won't probably be a Viking this upcoming season, but it's okay. Cause rumors are the Eagles are trying to trade their defensive end, Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat was a fourth round draft pick in 2018. And in 2021, I believe he signed a 3-year contract with the Eagles, man. So he is entering his last year under contract, man. And the contract was like 3 years, 42 mil with 26 guaranteed. That's a good contract. 26 guaranteed. That's a good contract, man. And Sweat had an okay year last year, man. He had 6.5 sacks. He had 2 forced fumbles. And Sweat, I believe, got better every year, man. In 2021, he had 7.5 sacks. In 2022, he had 11 sacks. And last year, he had 6.5 sacks with 30 solo tackles and 43 team tackles, man, total tackles. But I think Sweat would be a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings because he can play defensive end spot, and he will not be that expensive for the Minnesota Vikings. So the Minnesota Vikings need to go out and trade for Josh Sweat. Like, what are they waiting on? Y'all went out and traded a second-round pick for a down tight end when we had a wide receiver on the team already. So if they don't trade for Josh Sweat, this make no sense to me. The kid ain't not the kid. The man ain't number 26 years old. And he 6'5", weigh 235 pounds. I know he ain't put up no numbers like the Daniil Hunter, but you're going to have to pay for them numbers that the Daniil Hunter put up. Let's be for real. And he right now is a good option for the Minnesota Vikings, man. Because the Minnesota Vikings can save some money, and they can go out and sign that defensive tackle from the Miami Dolphins, Christian Wilkins. Many people have a link to the Minnesota Vikings. Me personally, I want them in purple and gold next year, man. But the Vikings need a defensive end because Daniil Hunter will not be on the team next year, man. And the Minnesota Vikings can also offer DJ Wonnum a cheap 1-year deal because he is coming off an injury. His market probably won't be that high. So the Minnesota Vikings can get more for their buck if they go out and trade and sign Josh Sweat to a contract extension, man. If not, trade for him anyway. Then you could franchise tag him next year. Then y'all can work out y'all deal behind the doors. But the Minnesota Vikings need to be on the phone with the Eagles trying to make the deal go down because the Minnesota Vikings need a defensive line. We need some defensive end. I don't know who even got under contract for the defensive end next year. Probably nobody. So that right there make all the sense of the world for the Minnesota Vikings to go out and trade for Josh Sweat. Like, why not? Like, who would be against the Minnesota Vikings trading for Josh Sweat? And we could trade the Eagles a next year draft pick for Sweat. It ain't got to be this year. It could be 2025, a third or a fourth round draft pick for Sweat. I'm not talking this year because we need all our draft picks this year. I'm telling the Eagles, next year, we send y'all a third round pick for Sweat and send y'all a 7th-round pick this year, however the case might be. Or the Minnesota Vikings can offer the Eagles or 4th-round draft picks this year because the Minnesota Vikings do have 2 4th-round draft picks. So it all depends on how the Minnesota Vikings and the Eagles want to play it. But the Minnesota Vikings need to be on the phone and on the market trying to get Josh Sweat in purple and gold next year. Like, let's be real. The Minnesota Vikings, man, do not have nobody true under contract next year to play the defensive end spot. Let's be for real, man. And Sweat is a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings, man. He young. He can play the DN spot. And we can get help on the defensive tackle by signing Christian Wilkins on the contract offer. But the Minnesota Vikings need to go out and make their trade, man. Like, Skol family, how would y'all feel if the Minnesota Vikings went out and trade for Josh Sweat? He ain't number 26 years old, man. And it seems like he got better every year. He can play the defensive end spot. Even though the Eagles' defensive line was loaded, shit, he played good. But now he's looking for a new contract. And the Minnesota Vikings can offer him probably the same deal the Eagles offered him 3 years ago. With $26 million guaranteed, man, they got to make that trade happen. Like, what? Daniil Hunter wants 26 a year. He wants 26 guaranteed for 3 years. It's no brainer for me. Go out and sign Josh Sweat, send the Eagles a next year draft pick, and the Minnesota Vikings have a true defensive end under center. And we be saving money, and we can go out and sign that defensive tackle from Miami. offered DJ Wynham a 1-year deal, probably about 2 or 3 million. He gonna take it. Cause ain't nobody gonna be checking for DJ Wynham after he done got injured anyway. He ain't about to sign no $10 or $8 million contract. Like, what, y'all crazy? The Minnesota Vikings, man, need to be on the phone with the Eagles trying to make that trade happen. But y'all let me know in the comment section below. How would y'all feel if the Minnesota Vikings trade for Josh Sweat, the Eagles defensive end? I want him to. I'm all here for it.